an automatic guarantee for success, right? Right?
Absolutely.
So, obviously not, but let's assume it would be right. It still would not apply to AI. You know why? Why wouldn't this apply to AI? That if you adopt AI into your business model, that would be a guarantee for success. There's a tiny little problem with AI, and that is that AI is not just a new technology. What AI did and still does, continues to do, is that AI fundamentally changed how we create business value. And this is a totally different thing than a new technology. And the focus being the word changed here. So in this talk, I want to emphasize that there is a difference between adoption and evolution. And we will get back to that later. So if the question, how can we adopt this into our business model, is the wrong one, what would be the right question to ask regarding our business model when it comes to AI? I think, and this is just my point of view, I think the correct question would be, which part of our business model will not survive because of AI? And this we need to change and not to adopt. So I myself, I'm from the e-commerce industry. And AI has also fundamentally changed e-commerce. And I don't mean that AI has changed how we create product images or how we translate product texts or product descriptions into different languages, because that would not be evolution, that would be adoption. The evolution that's happening right now in the e-commerce industry, and this is also the reason why all of us in my industry at least have to reinvent themselves right now. The evolution is that as of today, and still today, online shops are being built and optimized so that they are used by human beings. But what if online shops are not being used by humans anymore, but by bots? We are today not building online shops to be used by bots. We are building them to be used by humans. And this is going to be the evolution part and not the adoption part. So creating your product images with AI, that's adoption, that's not evolution. And I want to make sure that everyone gets this difference. Give me another example from our host, Gradient. So Rich is not here anymore, which is super good because I was afraid of that. So a couple of years back, the main business model of Gradient was building development teams for customers. Henry built the team for us, for example. And this business model is shrinking because of AI. So now Gradient has to reinvent themselves with new business models to evolve and to change, not to adopt. And this is why one floor down you see the Kuka robot. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that with AI and Byte coding we don't need developers anymore. That's totally wrong. So if you are not a developer, if you don't know how to code, and you want to Byte code something, you may get lucky and get a reasonable result. But for sure, 6 months later, you're gonna get hacked and all your customers' data are gonna be in the internet. So we still need developers, but the difference is that now every single developer can be much faster and much more efficient. And also one thing that AI changed in the development industry is that if you, like me, are a boring PHP developer, together with AI, you will be able to create high quality software in any other programming language, because if you know one programming language, this means you understood the concept of programming. And then you don't have the dictionary for the specific new language. But with the help of AI, you will get quality output in any other programming language if you're a developer. Okay, let's be reasonable, not in Rust. No one in the fucking world understands how Rust works, but in every other programming language. The third example I have is the SaaS industry. So DocuSign tried to sue someone who rebuilt what they do, the e-signature stuff, with Lovable in 10 days. And then the guy who built it was like, I don't know what you want from me. If your product can be rebuilt in 10 days, then it's your problem, not mine. And Lovable said, please sue him, because that's going to be the best PR for us ever. And HubSpot is another example. Does someone work for HubSpot? Okay, you. I know, but you already know what I'm going to say now. So we are not a big company. We are like 20 people. But our HubSpot bill per year is like 30,000, something like that. And honestly, we use maybe 10% of the features that HubSpot has. Now I'm wondering if, together with Byte coding, for this 10% what we're using from HubSpot, if we could Byte code something as an internal tool, not to sell this and put customers on, but only as an internal tool for us, and we can save the 30,000 euros per year. So basically, what I'm saying is, if your business today is a development agency and you see sales declining, and your new idea is to build a SaaS to fix this problem, I would suggest to think twice about that. Because both of that is not evolution, both of that is only adoption. And we need to evolve instead of adoption. Why is that so important? Why am I stressing this so much? Because when we only use new technology, but we ourselves never change, then we will end up like this.
Who's Lohner?
So,
Who's Lohner?
I'm Lohner. So, who wants to end up like that? No one, right? This guy is using all the newest shit, but he did not change, he did not evolve. And this is what we need to do. So now some people say that AI is destroying industries or disrupting industries or changing industries. But honestly, that's not the way I see it. Because AI isn't actively changing anything. I see it the way that AI is exposing inefficiencies. And this is a good thing. Being able to see where you are inefficient is a good thing. So if your business model worked in 2007 and still worked in 2017, it will still work in 2027. This was true for so many years, but today this is not true anymore. It simply doesn't work that way anymore. As a technology company, you have to reinvent yourself every 3 years. And this is not accounting for AI making everything faster. This was the old way before AI. As a technology company, you had to reinvent yourself every 3 years just to keep up with everyone else and with the technology evolving. And this circle is gonna go way, way down. And honestly, I'm not sure if I'm prepared for that. And I'm not sure if anyone is prepared for the frequency or for the speed where you have to reinvent yourself. This is going to be one of the biggest challenges in 2026. So my theory is that this is not going to be the year of AI or the year of consolidation or insolvencies or something like that, but this is going to be the age and the year of flexibility. So if you are able to change, then you have a chance. If you are not able to change, then you are fucked. As simple as that. So now the big question is, are we all gonna lose our jobs, right? This is what AI is gonna do. We are all gonna lose our job and end up homeless. So my grandmother worked in a factory. And by the way, this is not my grandma, this is what ChatGPT thinks my grandma looked like. My grandma worked in a factory and she built these binders in a line. So she would do the same thing 1,000 times per day. And in the 70s in Germany, roughly half of all the existing jobs were connected to factories or production of some sort. Today it's only something like 20%, so it went down 30%. And if we look at the economy and the society, did 1/4 of the workforce lose their job and go homeless? Anyone remember that happening? I don't. So why? Why did it not happen that obviously this job does not exist anymore? But still we don't have a recollection of 20% of our workforce getting homeless. Why did that happen? Anyone an idea?
It's because we were intelligent and could find new opportunities. But with AI, when it becomes more intelligent as a human, it's getting hard.
Let me drill down on that. What do you mind? What do you mean with find new opportunities?
Okay, new fields because we could find new things with our mind.
So we invented new jobs.
Yeah.
So if one job does not exist anymore, does not mean all the people doing that job gonna end up homeless. It just means that people will do a different job. And different jobs will get invented all the time. We invented new jobs that did not exist in the 70s, and people are now shifting to these jobs. And AI is not going to change that. Give me another example. So this is like super famous internet quote, but no one knows if Henry Ford really said that. So basically he said that if I had asked my customers what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. A faster horse would be like adoption, but inventing the affordable automobile, this was evolution. And by the way, Henry Ford did not invent the car. What he really invented was the production line.
Even that he didn't. He just changed it.
Okay.
He made it better.
He made it better so that cars could be mass produced and they got affordable. So everyone who was in the transportation industry before Henry Ford sort of lost their job. And what do you think the whole of the transportation industry since then until today, did it grow or shrink?
Grow.
It grew. Why did it grow? Because if something is gone, why don't the overall size shrink then?
Because of the evolution of affordable, faster, better moving.
I would say the price also drives demand.
Price drives demand, that's correct. But there's one very, very simple rule. Why still, because of the, despite this change, the automobile industry grew. And there's simply two factors why economy grows. Economies grow because the population grows. We are getting more people, not less people. And we are getting more efficient per people. So if we get more efficient per person and we are more persons, economy will grow automatically. There's nothing we can do about that. And in the growing economy, there will be new jobs invented. So AI will do exactly the same and nothing different. There will be jobs that are going to go away, but there will be other jobs that will be created instead, and the overall number of jobs and the overall number of work or the overall amount of work to be done will grow and not shrink, because the population grows and the efficiency grows. And AI, this is my point of view at least, is making inefficiency visible so we can get more efficient. So why am I speaking about this? The thing is that our company is 10 years old, and as I told you, as a tech company, you have to reinvent yourself every 3 years. So currently, we are in our third innovation cycle. And I just simply thought, maybe if I share the challenges why we as a company need to evolve and change, maybe some of you get an inspiration from that and can learn from that. I am not an expert in changing your business model. I cannot tell you what to do to survive the evolution. I can just tell you what I am doing for my own company, and maybe this inspires you. If you want to know how to change your company, you need to go to UDIT tomorrow at 2 p.m. in the same room. And tomorrow we're going to have like 100 chairs here, I promise. So basically what I'm saying is we need to question the status quo of our business model continuously. And let me give you the examples of our innovation circles, all three of them. So when we started the company ScaleCommerce 10 years ago, we specialized in, and by the way, we do like hosting, like boring server stuff. You put the online shop on our servers. And we started to be the first company who would not only rent out the servers, but would also help people improve the loading time of the application. So all of the other hosters, you could rent a server, but then they would not care what you do with the server. You just get the login credentials, and then you do whatever you want with the server. We changed that. We were the first ones to analyze your application and help your application load faster. What do you think happened a couple of years later?
Everyone else adapted it.
Everyone else did the same because they saw it worked. And they saw that we are winning pitches in sales and they don't. So they analyzed why, and then they started doing performance optimization. So then we had to go through our second innovation circle. And the second innovation circle is like roughly 5 years ago. We are a bit too slow. We don't have this 3-year thing. So what we invented in the hosting business is a transaction-based pricing model for hosting of your bring your own software. So instead of paying the server in e-commerce, we count the number of orders and you pay us per order, like 10 cents, 20 cents, I don't know, honestly. Obviously, there are a lot of transactional-based pricing models in e-commerce, but they all are on the same software, and then this is the cloud solution of this software vendor. So we are the only ones in our industry who have this sort of pricing model per order in e-commerce, but you bring your own software. And this is super risky for us. Because imagine that your software is shitty and needs a lot of resources. That means that I have to buy more servers, but I still get the same amount per order. So this is a business risk. Why we are doing this when this is a business risk? Because I think there's always two sides of the same coin. And there's two possibilities how you can look at that. There is the risk part. This is what I call the cost perspective. And from the cost perspective, this is a bad idea because maybe tax software is not good enough. But where is risk? Other people see opportunity. And this is what I call the value perspective. And the value perspective did one tiny little thing for us, which until today, no one else in our industry dares to copy. And this is by taking this risk on the one side, we have created the only hosting company I know of, maybe not in the world, but at least the only one in Germany, who makes more money when our customers need less servers. Think about that.
Yeah.
We are the only hosting company making more money when our customers need less instead of more servers. And this is what I call the value perspective, and this is what drives our sales, even in really hard times right now, because e-commerce is like going upside down. Okay, so this was our second innovation circle. Now what is the third one? The third one is going on right now, and it's not ready yet, so I cannot show you a thing or a product, but I can explain to you why we are doing this. And for me, it's super important to explain to you why we are doing this. So when you look at an online shop today, it looks like this. There's some sort of base with the online shop software itself, and then there is a lot of stuff that is sort of stacked onto that, like a Jenga, something like this. And if you are a big e-commerce site, then you mostly need all of these additional pieces. So, as you already know, I'm a developer, I'm a techie. So, in the past 10 years, I have always looked at e-commerce from a technical perspective, because I always thought that e-commerce is a technical problem, and technical problems need technical solutions. And this was correct 25 years ago, but it's not correct today anymore. Today, e-commerce is an economic problem and needs an economic solution. So what do I mean by that? If you look at the cost structure of an e-commerce site, at least in Germany, which is our industry, then they will spend roughly, or more or less, 1% of their revenue for their technical cost. And they will spend roughly 10% of their revenue for marketing cost. So this means whatever I do on the technical level, if I would cut the cost in half of the technical level, which is insane, it wouldn't matter at the end of the year on the balance sheet, because it would only be 0.5%. So what do we need to do? We need to take a look at the marketing spend, which is 10 times higher than the technical spend. This is what I mean when I say we need an economic solution and not a technical solution anymore for e-commerce. So how do we, first of all, how do we fix that? And also, why is the system broken right now? Because ad spend will never get cheaper anymore. Why should it? The only thing that's gonna change is today we are paying Google and tomorrow we're gonna pay OpenAI. But the amount will either increase or stay the same. The amount we spend will never go down because they don't have to be cheaper, because we are already paying. So if the cost will never go down and it makes up 10% of the total revenue, wouldn't this mean that every feature in an online shop that would increase the conversion rate, or that would make you able to do campaigns with your already existing customers, wouldn't this feature have to be a core part of the shop system instead of being one of the blocks that is stacked on top of that, which you have to do another contract for and you have to pay extra? This is why the system is broken right now, at least in my industry. And this is why we now need to evolve and we need to change this. And how are we gonna change that? The answer is super simple. If we can make all of these features and wobbly Jenga thingies go away and put everything in the core of the online shop, that would be the solution. So what we are building right now is software that is going to be the admin panel of your online shop. The working title is Shop Cockpit, but I'm not sure if this is a good working title. If you have a better idea, please find me or some of my team.
ShopKit.
Sorry?
ShopKit.
ShopKit? Maybe, yes. So into this, we want to build in features that now are not part of the core system, but you have to buy extra as these building blocks. And I want to give you 2 examples of these features. The first example is to create images, product images with AI. So we have one customer, with them we are doing the proof of concept. They are called wall art, and what they sell is like pictures, art. And they have product pictures of the thing itself. But now what we need to do is, we need to put this picture of a football stadium into a super modern living room so that people can see how it looks like. Or maybe because this is football, we put it in a messy teenager's room. Or I don't know, maybe we even have the customer take a photo of their room and we put it in there. This is the first feature that we have already built into the ShopKit. Not bad. Can you check if the domains are available?
Sorry.
Already bought. You already
just registered.
I know him. He would totally do that.
To make you talk about me in your presentation again.
So the second feature that we built in is also regarding trying to improve the output of the marketing spend, and this is customer segmentation. I'm sorry, this is like from Andy's development laptop screenshot, and it's all in, most of it is in German. But I want to explain what this feature does. Basically, you can search in all of your orders and customers for something that you want to make a campaign of. So let me give you an example. In Germany, for all electronics, we have 24-month warranty. So now, for me, it's super interesting to see every customer who bought something in electronics 23 months ago, because I can send them an email and try to sell them an insurance which will prolong the warranty without having to pay Google for that, because I already have the data. And what we did here is that you put in what you want to say in human language, and then with the help of AI, we translate this into a query into the database, and we get the list. And then you do this every day, because every day for someone is a new 23 months ago, right? And then you come up with a second campaign, and a third campaign, and a fourth campaign. Every day a new campaign, but all the others are still running. And at some point you will see an increase of sales for your existing customer base, which you don't have to pay Google for. So from a technical perspective, and I know some of you are techy, and when you solve the problem of your customer, then a product may follow. It's not guaranteed that a product will follow only because you solve problems for your customer. But the chance for that is way, way higher than the other way around, when you invent a product and hope for someone to have the problem, the matching problem for your product. The chance of that being successful is way, way lower than the other way around, but still there's no guarantee for this. This is all a bet. And as an entrepreneur, to be honest, that's your fucking job. You have to do bets. If someone of you has a business model that works without taking a risk and doing a bet, please come and talk to me, because then I don't need to come back next year, because I'm going to be on the Maldives and not answer the phone when you ring. Another thing, and I hope that every single one of you knows this already, but for me this has absolutely, like 10 years ago, changed the way I run the company, and I do sales and also presentations. And therefore I have it here as a reminder for me. But I sincerely hope that you already know that. And this is Simon Sinek's Start with Why. Basically what he says is that usually when we want to talk about stuff, we start to tell people what it is. What are we doing? Then sometimes, after we told what, sometimes we also tell the how. How do we do that? But most of the times, we do not talk about why we do that. And he says this is super important because of the simple reason how the human brain works. People are not product driven. People are driven by purpose. And a product can never give me purpose. But if you explain to me why you are doing this product, if you explain your purpose to me, then I can make the decision if I want to belong to this purpose or follow this purpose. So people don't follow products, they follow purpose. And people by nature also want to belong. People by nature do not want to be alone. They want to belong, either like family-wise or in a group of like-minded people-wise. And only if you tell me your purpose, why are you doing that? And the why is not to make money, that's not the purpose. Then I can decide if I want to belong to that purpose and then buy your product. This is how Apple works. Apple says, think different. Other computer companies, when they sell laptops, they say this laptop has like 14 inches, 200 gigabytes of something, and 3 CPU cores and whatever shit. Apple says, this is the thinnest laptop in the world, and we are doing this because we want to challenge how you can work with the best laptop available. And it comes also in different colors. Want to buy one? This is how Apple works. And basically he says the why is so important that we have to even start with the why. Not forget the why, but we have to start with the why. Remember the first slide I showed you of our current idea? What we want to do? This was the why. Then the second slide I showed you, this was the how, by implementing this into one piece of software. And only the last slide that I showed you was the what. For me, this has impacted my life. So I sincerely hope that in this session you can take home something to think about and that you got inspired a bit. And if I could wish something for you, then my wish would be that you not get one of those guys adopting AI, but instead you get one of those guys thinking ahead. Thank you for your time.